Right now at 10, hundreds rally outside the Capitol. Their message straight ahead. And the man who kidnapped Jamie Kloss and killed her parents will be sentenced tomorrow. The sheriff's message to the community on the night before. And we're live from Fiserv Forum. Highlights from tonight's Game 5 in Milwaukee, plus a showdown courtside. The story coming up.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us. Charlotte has the night off. With recent laws passed that restrict women's access to safe abortions, people in Madison wanted their voices heard. They held a protest at the Capitol tonight in favor of a woman's right to choose. And Amy Reed joins us now to show us their message. Amy?
Hundreds of people stood on the Capitol steps tonight hoping to send a message that a person's access to safe and legal abortions should be protected.
Because safe and legal abortion is a human right. So thank you for being here today. We will not go back.
The turnout was in the hundreds.
We are not stepping down. We're not stepping back. We are here. We're loud. We are not going anywhere.
Many groups backed the pro-abortion rights rally, from the Women's March to Fight for Her. But what brought them out were lawmakers across the country, like Alabama and Georgia, pushing legislation to law that severely restricts access to safe abortions.
Reproductive rights are human rights, and any human should have total body autonomy, period.
Counter-protesters showed up too, hoping to show the large crowd another side.
We're here because we're followers of Jesus Christ. We want to proclaim the good news of how to be reconciled to God, how a person can have their sins forgiven, and to show that this culture, specifically the people here, what they support doing to children.
In Wisconsin, the state assembly passed 4 bills against abortion rights last week, from the so-called Born Alive bill to one that effectively cuts Medicaid funding for abortions. And though Governor Evers has said he would not sign at least some of them into law, these people have a message.
I would say no uterus, no opinion. I think that with this, you don't live our lives, you don't know who we are, and this kind of rhetoric and this kind of language is damaging and it hurts people.
Protesters also said this isn't just a women's rights issue. They said it extends to the transgender and non-binary communities as well.
Amy, thank you. Getting a look at the weather now. Nice day today. Temperatures back in the 70s. This weekend looking nice as well, but we do have an alert day before then. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us in our first alert forecast. Gary?
There's a possibility for a strong to severe thunderstorm tomorrow. A lot of it will depend on what happens in the middle part of the day, when we have the possibility of getting some sunshine to warm things up and then making the atmosphere a little bit more unstable. But tonight, you can see showers and thunderstorms moving through western Iowa, but as they move eastward across that state, you can see how things really start to settle down. Doppler track shows nothing really imminent for southern Wisconsin. High temperatures today were generally 70 degrees or above from Madison on toward the south and east. A little cooler to the north and west, where temperatures stayed in the upper 60s. Current temperatures are generally in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. Very comfortable out there. But look for chances for showers and thunderstorms by early tomorrow morning. A break midday and then more thunderstorm chances late in the day, and that's where there could be the potential for some severe weather. Tomorrow's high temperature at 70. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. And destruction today in Missouri's capital, Jefferson City, after a tornado hit overnight. And this is just some of the damage. The city, home to about 40,000 people. There were a few injuries, but no reported fatalities. The outbreak of severe storms and tornadoes razed homes, flattened trees, and overturned cars for miles around. And just this week, well over 100 tornadoes. Days of torrential flooding have ravaged parts of the southern plains and Midwest. Jake Patterson will be sentenced tomorrow for murder and kidnapping. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss, whose parents were killed by Patterson, was held captive for 88 days in a hunting cabin before escaping in January.
This community just wants what Jamie needs. And this community just wants to, I think, move forward. I think they're ready to move forward. And justice to be served, and I think it will be. And hopefully, we'll move forward after tomorrow and see where this goes. But this community has done so much.
CBS This Morning will be in Barron tomorrow for sentencing. That is immediately following News 3 Now this morning. It has been nearly a year now since a teen was found dead in Iowa County, and few questions have ever been answered. On May 31st, 2018, the body of a 13-year-old was discovered on a property in the town of Mineral Point. Around that time, authorities did confirm the death as suspicious. They also said the investigation would take a considerable amount of time. Since then, authorities still have not released a name or the manner of death. A former Madison teacher has been charged with sexual assault of a minor in California. Hector Vasquez pleaded not guilty to felony charges out in Redwood City, California. Vasquez was fired from a Madison school in 2006 after parents filed a sexual harassment complaint and a police investigation found he was a liability. Dane County Judge Jill Karofsky says she is running for the state Supreme Court, officially announcing her candidacy today. She will challenge current Justice Daniel Kelly, who will be up for re-election, that election next April, the same day as the Democratic presidential primary here in Wisconsin. State Supreme Court justices serve 10-year terms. The President and First Lady made an unannounced stop at Arlington National Cemetery today ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. They placed flags at the headstone of Frank Buckles, the last surviving World War I veteran. The president won't be in the country to observe the holiday. He will leave for Japan on Friday, although he will participate in a Memorial Day event there. After months of negotiations, it appears Congress and the president have agreed to terms on a disaster relief bill. It includes $19 billion for aid after devastating floods, wildfires, and hurricanes. The Senate passed the measure this afternoon. The House is expected to take it up tomorrow. Republican lawmakers say that President Trump will sign it if it reaches his desk. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is getting hit with a fresh set of charges, indicted today on 18 new counts, among them allegations that he helped former Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning's efforts to leak classified documents. The 47-year-old Assange is in custody right now in London after being evicted from the Ecuadorian embassy last month. The U.S. is now seeking his extradition. Proof today that lawmakers are just as fed up with robocalls as all of us are. The U.S. Senate passing the Traced Act today on a bipartisan vote. The legislation would impose stiffer fines, as much as $10,000 per call, to those who knowingly defy the rules. The bill would also increase the statute of limitations to 3 years and instructs the FCC to develop further regulations that could shield unwanted calls. Last year, Americans received more than 26 billion robocalls. Dr. Dwight Watson has been announced as a new chancellor at UW-Whitewater. He was unanimously approved by the UW System Board of Regents after a recommendation from the selection committee. Dr. Watson has previously served as provost and vice president of academic and student affairs at Southwest Minnesota State University. His first day as chancellor at UW-Whitewater will be August 1st. One of Janesville's longest-running Catholic schools will need some help from parents and alums to stay open at full capacity. At a meeting last night, St. Mary's School announced it would not be cutting its 6th through 8th grade classes, but it will need to raise roughly $550,000 between tuition and fundraising to stay open each year. A group of people dedicated to keeping the school open say that's something they are willing to do.
At this point, we're kind of trying to figure out what that number is, and we'll raise it because we have to, and we'll do it year after year because this place deserves to stay.
The school's principal says the need for money has been made worse because of a drop in enrollment. A pivotal Game 5 tonight in Milwaukee between the Bucks and Raptors. The Bucks took an early lead in this one, but it was just 3 points by halftime and has just gone final 105-99. Game 6 Saturday in Toronto, where the Raptors can end the Bucks season. Now, one of the highlights of the night for Bucks fans was this. Packers offensive lineman David Bakhtiari, he's become a hero of sorts for this beer chugging during timeouts. At it again tonight after downing 2 of them. He challenged one of his teammates on the other side of the court. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, not quite on Bakhtiari's level when it comes to beer chugging. And then just to rub it in, Bakhtiari would chug a 3rd beer. And we'll have a live report on what exactly happened on the court from Fiserv Forum coming up in sports in a few minutes. A piece of Packers history came crumbling down this afternoon. Crews demolished this giant football at the former Packers Hall of Fame site in Green Bay. That building is being torn down to make way for a new expo center. The Packers say the old Hall of Fame was dedicated by President Ford back in 1976. The Hall of Fame relocated to the new Lambeau Field atrium in 2013. When we come back, NOAA is out with its 2019 storm predictions, how many major hurricanes they are anticipating this year, plus a special Make-A-Wish for a Rock County teenager always dreaming of joining the force. Stay with us. Welcome back. A Rock County teenager is getting a big surprise today, courtesy of the Beloit Police Department and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Colton Whitty has always wanted to be a police officer, just like his dad, Kevin, but he had a brain injury at birth. He has epilepsy. Tonight, he and his family were surprised with a trip to Los Angeles, where Colton and his dad will do SWAT training with the LAPD. This surprise, all his mom's idea.
Even though he has to overcome so much medically and it might not be possible for him to be a police officer, I wanted him to feel like he really belongs, and I think they did a great job making him feel like he'll always be a police officer.
Colton was also given a custom-made SWAT team suit and patches. His family will leave for LA in the first week of June. With your help, thousands of dollars were raised today for families all across the Madison area to keep food in their homes. News 3 Now partnered with the Goodman Community Center today for a Hunger Heroes telethon. For hours, volunteers took your calls and donations, raising thousands of dollars. For much of the country, gas prices will be lower this Memorial Day weekend than they were a year ago, but they are still a long way from being cheap. The national average of regular unleaded currently at $2.85 a gallon. That's about a dime cheaper than a year ago. AAA estimates that a record 37.6 million people will be on the roads this weekend, which is up 3.5% from last year. If you're planning on firing up the grill this Memorial Day weekend, you may want to double check your meat products. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has issued a recall for more than 62,000 pounds of raw beef. It's due to E. coli concerns. That meat was shipped nationwide. For a full list of what's being recalled, you can check out channel3000.com. Facebook says it has removed 2.2 billion fake accounts in just 3 months. That's a record. It's almost as many as the number of legit monthly active users. That's 2.3 billion. Company says a lot of those fake accounts come from automated attacks, and technicians are usually able to delete them just minutes after they're created. Facebook says 25 of every 10,000 views of photos or videos involves content that violates graphic and violence policies. The company also caught 83% of attempts to sell drugs and almost 70% of attempts to sell guns on its platform before users reported them. Hurricane season begins next month, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, is out with its storm predictions. The agency forecasting as many as 15 named storms in the Atlantic region, 4 to 8 hurricanes, 2 to 4 of them major hurricanes.
The 2019 outlook is really about being prepared as much as it is about the number of storms.
The U.S. was slammed with 2 devastating hurricanes last year, Hurricane Florence in the Carolinas and Hurricane Michael along the Florida Panhandle. With temperatures on the rise here in Madison, the pesky algae blooms are right around the corner, and today the Madison Clean Lakes Alliance was out helping their citizen monitors take their first water quality measurements of the year.
We have over 70 citizen monitors across all 5 Yahara lakes that take bi-weekly measurements, including visual observations and a couple direct measurements like air temperature and water temperature and water turbidity.
The data collected is then put on the organization's website for up-to-date water quality information. These volunteers collect data at 79 different locations, including all 25 beaches on Lakes Mendota, Monona, Wingra, Waubesa, and Kagonza. And looking ahead to the weekend, visitors to the world's largest Bratfest might have to dodge a little rain. The outdoor music event at Alliant Energy Center features headliner Smash Mouth tomorrow, Steve Adler of Guns N' Roses on Saturday. Admission is free, but the proceeds from those hot dog and brat sales will go to local charities. So always an important weekend. Big forecast. People hoping to enjoy some sunshine, but tomorrow's going to be a little interesting.
You know, we have an alert day in the forecast for the potential for some severe weather, but the key word there is potential. A lot of it will depend on whether or not we get some sunshine midday or if it stays cloudy and cooler, which would lessen the severe weather potential. The time lapse from the WISC Sky Camp today in Madison, looking off toward the west, you can see just how sunny it was. The fair weather cumulus clouds pop up in the afternoon, and then toward late afternoon, you start to see some mid and high level clouds on the western horizon. Tomorrow, though, thunderstorm chances will arrive late tonight, tomorrow morning. Those probably won't be severe. If we do see a severe weather threat, it'll be late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Hail, wind, high wind, and heavy rain. The main threats can't rule out an isolated tornado, but that threat will be higher farther to the south. And the reason why is you can see the first batch of showers and storms moving eastward, and notice how they're just kind of falling apart as they reach northeastern Iowa. The air is a little bit drier here, so first thing has to happen is the atmosphere has to moisten up. So the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from Madison southward, a marginal risk risk to the north. But again, this is what we call a conditional risk. If it stays cloudy, cooler, or if it rains for more the day before the afternoon thunderstorms, that will keep the atmosphere a little bit more stable, and consequently, the severe weather threat will be lower. If we get some sunshine midday, then we could see a higher threat for severe weather. On Saturday, there's a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms south of Madison. This is even more conditional because it's possible that many locations may not see any rain at all. But if we do get some thunderstorms to pop up late afternoon or early evening, they could become severe very quickly because it will be warmer on Saturday with sunshine and high temperatures around 80. Over the last 48 hours, 1 to 2 inches of rain fell through much of northern Illinois, where there's some severe weather last night. You can see far southeastern Wisconsin caught some of that as well. But look at the computer model forecast. This is the main U.S. computer model, the GFS model, and this is through early Sunday morning, calling for the potential for anywhere from 1 to 2 or more inches of rain through southern Wisconsin. And then, as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, another round of showers and thunderstorms, and that brings the potential for another couple of inches of rain. So when all is said and done, we could be looking at somewhere of 3 to 5 inches through southern Wisconsin over the next week. Not good news for the farmers, that's certainly for sure. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam downtown Madison, pretty quiet out there right now. High temperature today, 71, right where it should be. The low 56, a little bit above the average of 48. Right now we're at 58. Clear skies, winds out of the north at 3. Notice the dew point temperature at 48, so the air's still a little dry here. As we look at high temperatures today, low 70s in the southern portion of the state, a little cooler to the north and west. Temperatures right now mainly in the 50s with a few upper 40s in far northwestern Wisconsin. But with that strong southwesterly wind flow, the jet stream really stayed in the same position, so it just keeps ejecting wave after wave of low pressure and rain northeastward into our part of the country. There's the next batch to our west, and the surface weather map shows a warm front to the south. As that moves northward on Saturday, we could get up to around 80, and again, that could bring the potential for a strong to severe thunderstorm late in the day Saturday. Tonight becoming cloudy, showers and thunderstorms developing toward morning, low at 52. For tomorrow, we'll see the best chances for showers and storms early in the morning and late in the afternoon, in between cloudy with a high of 70. On future track, here come the clouds. Showers and thunderstorms arrive late tonight through tomorrow morning, then a break midday. There could be some breaks in the clouds. That could allow temperatures to get a little warmer than what we have on here, and that could lead to another round of thunderstorms tomorrow evening. And then after that, we'll see a chance of thunderstorms Saturday morning, maybe late Saturday afternoon, but in between, high temperatures up around 80. And when all is said and done through Saturday, we could be looking, again, at a couple of inches of rain in some spots, especially the ones that get caught with heavier thunderstorms. The 7 to 10 day forecast, notice the better chances of rain for the Memorial Day weekend from Memorial Day itself into Tuesday and Wednesday. Cooler for the middle part of next week. Temperatures back into the low 70s by the end of next week.
Yeah, not too bad, though, for this weekend. A lot of people with a lot of plans.
I think there'll be plenty of dry hours, especially Saturday and Sunday.
All right, Gary, thank you. For the first time, the home team loses in the Eastern Conference Finals. That is not good news for the Bucs. A live report from Milwaukee just ahead.
Game 5 of an NBA playoff series is very important. Throughout history, if a 7-game series is tied 2-2, the winner of Game 5 ends up winning the series about 83% of the time. Game 5 tonight, Raptors at Bucks. It was looking good for the Bucks when Giannis bowled his way to the hoop for a 60-51 Bucks lead with just under 9 minutes left. But Kawhi Leonard is a former MVP Finals player with the Spurs. He knows what he's doing. 2 threes give Toronto the lead, and here's the finisher. Looks like Kyle Lowry was fouled, but he wasn't. Pascal Siakam seals the deal. There's trouble in the Cream City. Final score, Raptors 105, Bucks 99. Kawhi Leonard, 35 points. The first time this season the Bucks have lost 3 games in a row. Game 6, Saturday night in Toronto. Right now, we go live to Milwaukee, where Kevin Lewis joins us on the floor at Fiserv Forum. Kevin, what happened to the Bucks tonight?
Jay, this was a game of swings, and we've been talking about the supporting cast helping Giannis for the Bucks, helping Kawhi Leonard for the Toronto Raptors. But sometimes stars play big in big moments, and Kawhi Leonard was a star tonight. He did it all for the Raptors, scoring 35 points, grabbing 7 boards, dishing out 9 helpers, and he was every bit of the superstar that people kind of thought was missing in Game 4, despite the fact that Toronto won. Now, the big moment for the Bucks came on a turnover. With 26.8 seconds to go, Malcolm Brogdon thought he dribbled it off the leg of a Raptors player. It went to a review, and Toronto got the ball as the call was overturned after the Pascal Siakam dunk after a timeout. It took the air out of the building, it took the air out of the Bucks, and it took the air out of Game 5 as Toronto heads home with a chance to seal this thing at Scotiabank Arena on Saturday night at 7:30. The Bucks, like you said, Jay, losing 3 straight games for the first time all season. They didn't play bad defense, which is what Chris Middleton said they had to do coming into this game. They held Toronto to 37% shooting from the field, but Toronto made big shots when they had to make big shots, and it was the Bucks offense that sputtered down the stretch and leaves them in danger of losing as they have to go back north Saturday night in Game 6 with a 17% chance of victory in the series. It comes down to a 2-game season for the Bucks, and it could potentially be won if they lose Saturday night in Toronto, as the Bucks, coming off their 3rd straight loss of the season, we're surviving. Basketball is flying around. Jay, we'll see what happens in Toronto as the Bucks are in desperation mode from here on out.
All right, Kevin, safe travels home tonight. That's Kevin Lewis live at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. Thanks. Giannis was a unanimous selection of the All-NBA first team today. James Harden was also a unanimous pick. Stephen Curry, Paul George, and Nikola Jokic also All-NBA first team. WIA Division I track sectionals at Verona tonight. The boys 110-meter hurdles. Reedsburg's Jacob Dregney with a last-second push to take the sectional title, 14.8 seconds. Girls 100-meter dash. Madison Memorial goes 1-2. Grace Korger Mitchell first, her time 12.51. The Spartan girls win the sectional team title, and Middleton wins the boys sectional team title. One of their individual winners is Caleb Easton here in the 1,600-meter run. The state track meet is next week in La Crosse. The Brewers have their 2nd day off this week. They'll play again tomorrow night when Bryce Harper and the Philadelphia Phillies visit Miller Park. The Phillies beat the Cubs at Wrigley Field today. JT Realmuto homered off John Lester. Philadelphia won 9-7. With the loss, the Cubs are now a game and a half ahead of the Brewers atop the National League Central Division. And we'll be right back.
We do have some breaking news right now into our Channel 3000 Alert Center. As you can see here, crews are on the scene of a fire. This is on the east side of Madison. The call came in at 9:40 tonight. This is in the 1300 block of Ruskin Street in the Sherman area. We don't know if there are any injuries at this point or anything on a cause of this fire. Stay with News 3 Now and Channel 3000 for the very latest updates. And we thank you for joining us tonight on News 3 Now at 10. We'll see you tomorrow.